Good evening, degenerates. How are we this fine Thursday? Beginning to a wonderful 4-day weekend for me. I've got some time off. Looking forward to it. Oh, man, it's been a long week. Ah, well, Ash, first of all, thanks for hopping in early, and Kick is ahead by 12 seconds. Well, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, I don't know if that's you there, but I usually have a damn bot watching me, and it'll drop some kind of nonsense in the chat. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's no big deal. No skin off my nose. I got plenty. Um, so trying my best already to keep my cigar lit. Oh no, it's you. You're there twice. Okay, got you. So I got a couple of, I don't know if I would call them housekeeping items, but things I can cover with my my one person audience here. So first of all, got the new, and looks really blue in this light. It's not blue. It's violet ventricle. You can see the shirt, Mr. Herrera's face on it. So you can get this shirt. Got all the chances in the world. It's live. It's up on the website. Or alternatively, um, got the contest going over on my X. It's a pin post on my profile at JD the Bot Guy. All you got to do is like the post, repost. I would suggest doing a quote. It is easier to track. I use Grok to pick the winners, so you want to make it easy on Grok. Leave a comment, and you got to follow, of course, Forced Valor and also my accounts on X. But it's not hard. You can do those things. Forced Valor only posts content for that channel. I post all kinds of nonsense. Um, Ash can tell you I'm an idiot on the internet, and so anyway, please go enter. I don't know how many people have entered it so far, but not very many. Your chances are pretty good if you go over there and take care of that. We have a few people who didn't do all the steps, because I know for sure because we've got 4 comments. Two or three of them are mine. So I mean, come on. I mean, if people are reposting and liking and all that, and they're not commenting. You got to comment, folks. You can't just do some of the rules. Again, Grok is picking, and it'll know the rules because it reads. Some of you do not. Now, that may be because you don't want to win. I don't know why you wouldn't. Oh, also, the contest is not just for the shirt. The shirt's just for something to look at. There's any item that you want, any one item off of the website, off the merch site, um, can be yours. All you got to do is this. It costs you nothing. No purchase necessary. If you win, I'll contact you, have you DM me or whatever, and we'll figure out where to send it. But you don't. It doesn't cost you a dime. Not a thing. And I mean, if you want to be that kind of person, you can unfollow me and everything afterwards. I don't know how you would have ended up here if you were going to do something like that, but hey, whatever. Um, Also, let's see. I think it's this one. Yes, Unsubscribe has got their yearly uh, autism acceptance. I think is what there's not awareness, it's acceptance now. Um, got their shirts up. I'm not sure if all of them are up on Bunker. There's a really new one. You can see right here. There's two new designs. You got the patriotism and the built different. So, of course, that's I think Show made that one. I believe I saw her post that. So that's cool. Also, they've got their favorites, the weaponized autism, the Spectrum gunship, which was not available last year. I believe they brought it back for this year. So a lot of people were talking about wanting that one, and they didn't have it. Now they do. The Born to Math Full Metal Spectrum. That's uh, that's one of my personal favorites. And this one looks to me like Nick may have contributed. My autism hates communism. So that sounds like that sounds like a fat electrician design choice right there. So, hey, get on over there. Those proceeds all go to charities that support autism acceptance and awareness. I contribute every year. As you can see, that contributed greatly last year. I don't know how I'm going to top it this year. I haven't seen anything extra come out. It is only the second day of the month, so we'll see how that goes. They may announce something new. Not for sure. It would be cool. I haven't seen the shoes. They had shoes last year that had the puzzle pieces on them and stuff. I don't know if they're going to come out with those or not, but you know, um, it would be neat. Let's see. I've got did not for the life of me. I don't know why did not stage this up, but if you follow me, you will have seen me post this, and I'll scroll down. I talk so much smack. Haven't seen any new shoes yet. So they had the shoes last year on Bunker, the combat flip flops. You know that the they look kind of like Converse Chuck Taylors, but they had the puzzle pieces on them and stuff. I haven't seen. I saw somebody someplace posted that they don't have those up on Bunker. Obviously, I'm not an insider. I just see what I see on the internet. Um, I'm not saying that they won't. I'm just saying that they're not there yet. Um, so if you go over to, I'm I'm just going to do this the hard way. Oh, I almost had it. I'm only a slight idiot. I the we've got Chaos is bought them both. Oh, they still have some in stock. So look, um, I got my violet ventricles, just like the shirt. Got the metals in person, real tangible. These are made of metal. Uh, folks over at Patch Ops have been so kind as to help out with this, getting these made based off of my design, and you can buy them. So that gives you an indication of how big they are, right? So they're not tiny little bitty things. They're a pretty good size. Um, so anyway, you can get those over at patchops.com for $24.99. Um, so I think they're cool. I'm not saying that there's one in the unsub PO box as we speak, but I ain't saying there ain't either. Oh, another piece of uh, interesting information. So I'm going to take up just for a second so I make sure that I don't show something that I'm not supposed to. Because, you never know what's going to show up on X. You really, really don't. Um, let's see. Where, oh, where? Well, this is another thing. I'll get to that in a second. Just give me some time. Um, if you don't follow me on X, you're just wasting your time. I mean, come on. You'll have seen almost all the stuff that I'm going to talk about today. Well, not all of the stuff, but a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about at the beginning here um, on X already. But there's an update. So some of you saw that JD Delay last week, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. Had a live stream where he was doing a live react to my video I made of him for Forced Valor, and he showed a pretty good bit of it. But this has happened. Yeah, it was blocked on copyright grounds. I don't know who Grupa BB Media Sport is, but I'm assuming it was one of the videos that he showed after mine, because obviously it's not one, it's not me, and two, I wouldn't do that. That's stupid. Why would I take that down? But JD Delay, please, pretty please, go in there and remove that piece of that video because I was enjoying the people coming to see me. Mm. So it is what it is, as I always say. Um, you know, I, he probably will move forward and not do anything about that. He is losing money on that. That thing's been, I don't know, I think it was like 25,000 people had seen. I don't know how many people had seen or how many views it had. It was a lot. Well, it was a lot for me. So, I mean, I'm not selfish or anything. I mean, heaven forbid, you know, get a little bit of action out of that. Yesterday, April 1st, no joke at all. As you can see right here, I posted episode 51, Reef. That's great. Reef of Reckoning. Reek of Reckoning. That's funny. Um, that's up and going. I, you know, I don't have to tell you it's not doing the best. So pretty please go over there and give it a view. Help me out. That I don't know what's about. So and sometimes YouTube likes me, sometimes it don't. I think let's see, where are we at now? It's currently 10 of 10 on YouTube. It's flopping. Of course it is. Um, yeah, poor thing. Yeah, well, they're not all winners. I will say that there's going to be a new thing. There will be next week, week after next. I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm gonna go. So I've already got next week's, a week from yesterday. So I'll release on Wednesday evenings. I've got the video. The next video is already queued up. It's loaded, ready to go. I came up with a new thing I'm gonna do. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna go back and make a modification to that video because it's not like I can go in and just in place edit it. you first of all, YouTube's not the only place I post these. I post these up on Rumble as well, and I don't know that I want to go around and redo all that, right? Especially for something that's kind of gimmicky. Now, I may keep this gag, this new thing I'm gonna do. It's not Ronald. So before anybody starts complaining or flipping out about me changing the voice again, I'm not going to. Also, sorry, it's raining. If you can hear the noise, my apologies. Ash, if you get a opportunity, drop a comment if you can hear the rain. That's It's not showing up on my mic, so I don't know that you can hear it at all. So, I mean, if you can't hear this air conditioner running right beside my head, then man, I doubt you're going to hear that. Let us see what else we can hit on here. There's some other stuff. I want to make sure I talk about all of the updates. Oh, yeah, another thing. So, you guys all know that my camera's not fuzzy per se. What I did was I jacked around with the settings to try and get the color to stop doing stupid things. It may be that I'm also sitting way back from the camera, so I don't know if that's the problem. Um, but yeah, it does kind of look like it might be a touch, maybe a little out of focus. Let's try something. Hold on a second. What did that do? I didn't see anything change. I don't know if that fixed it or not. I have a cheap camera. It's a little Logitech Brio 101. It's oh well. Um, let's see. Oh, so I went to Echelon last week. Yeah, great place. It's fun. So some of you may have noticed that when they posted the unsub guys in that very same place. Um, Pretty cool. Uh, Saw a partial pallet of the armed golfer. Just so happened I got some. Yes, I went without you. You weren't there. Make yourself available, sir. And I saw some neat knives. I don't know who did what there, but yeah, cool knives. There's a dog. There's a damn dog, and the dog didn't want to see me. Wanted nothing to do with me. I don't understand it personally. Every dog I've ever met in my entire life has, been cool with me. That dog was was skittish, and I don't know, man. It's a little bit strange. Um, I felt somewhat insulted. It was awful. You're three-ish hours. So me too. I'm on the other end of the state. Um, so I also met King Pix. Yeah, I put a thing up about that. Walked out of the back. I was doing the little tour and come out of the warehouse into the. Yeah, I'm on the bad end. That's right. Come out of the warehouse into the front area, and there he's standing with a damn sword. I don't know, but yeah, they were patching the big hole in the wall that Nick, the fat electrician, had busted in the wall when he was there just I don't know a few days before. So yeah, that was a cool thing to do. Um, yeah, shout out to Sam. Still don't have any feet pics. But if you don't drink Echelon, there's something wrong with you. The stuff is great. Yeah, Ash, I'm not screwing around with this camera anymore. If it's out of focus, it's out of focus. It's just the way it's going to be today. Because I am totally afraid that if I start messing around with it, it's going to screw up. I think what, oh, I think I see what it is. Yeah, it's got, so if you look in the black areas in my screen, it's a little bit funky. It's doing some stupid stuff, like it's downscaling or something. Hmm, interesting. Well, I'm no Eli when it comes to cameras, but I will mess with it. This is what I should have done. I should have made the adjustment to this thing when I was in OBS and not when I was on Discord. So Discord does something different, and I adjusted all that there, and not in here. And the big thing is I was getting really tired of every time I leaned one way or the other, the white balance on this thing would go crazy. Now my now my ADD is going nuts. Uh, we're let's see. Let's see what we can do about this. All right, we're gonna do something. That didn't fix the fuzziness. That just changed the white balance. Hmm. Turn the auto white balance off. Now I'm all goofy looking. I mean, I was already goofy looking. Let's slide this. Yeah, I don't know. This is it. Is that the one? Nope. Now I'm yellow. I'm jaundiced. It's all the drinking. Oh Lord. All right, let's try. Let's keep trying. This is fun stuff. Oh, I'm normal looking again, sort of. Yep. I don't know. I don't know if that's any better, but I will say that my oh, Travis is here. I was paying no attention to you, Travis. Sorry, I'm playing around with my camera settings. I'm having a moment. To euthanize it. Two, you got there at 3 when I found out he was promised rescue and he's going to a rescue place. Aw, man, that sucks. Huh. Well, I hope you're able to recover your dog. I really do. So, Ash, is that any better on the camera? I may have dust on the screen because I can see down in the black areas I've got some kind of weird funkiness going on. But I was set up uh it was set up to a frame rate that wasn't right. So, we'll call this good enough for now. I'll just close the settings and go on with my life. Twitter camera seems fine. Well, I think it really depends. So the I had to screw around with it, like I said, because I was tired of the white balance. I've got a pretty decent sized monitor. Yeah, it's as good as it's going to get, especially with me sitting in it. That's probably what the problem is. If I was to bring somebody better looking in here and set them there, eh, yeah, golf day. That wasn't golf. I was just riding around in a side by side that happens to be sitting on the other side. Anybody who's watched any of my old stuff with uh, when I was on, I had to say it. I'm sitting in a building, and my side by side is sitting right here, and I just had to put something up behind me because You never know what's behind back here. And no, I have a diesel Kawasaki Mule, and it's not a golf cart. Yeah, yeah, me too. I can't not do it. So let's see here. What else? Oh Lord. Okay, so here's a good one. This is great. I'm glad we got a couple people watching now. Oh, for the Lord. So anybody who watched any of my stuff from last week, I had a pretty decent rant. Uh, I want to say that was, I don't know if it was Friday, maybe it was Friday. I know it wasn't Thursday, but I had a pretty decent rant about AI because everybody hates on, about all these people hate on AI, and they want to talk a bunch of smack about it, and they act like it's super easy to do, and so I had a little bit of a rant. I clipped that into a short and posted it in a few places. The YouTube short, oh Lord, man. So the YouTube short, uh, people started just losing their minds in the comments. And man, I'll tell you, well, so here's the first thing. Yeah, it is hard, Travis. It's hard to get it to do what you want, right? First of all, I get it close to what I want. And yeah, it's not perfect. I The guns are kind of goofy because you know what? AI doesn't like guns. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is, and I'm not going to concern myself with that. I'm making up stories about shit, whatever, right? So, I get it kind of close. Well, I doctor the hell out of these images after I make them. I've got a whole process. I'm not going to go through all the details of it because, it's my process. And if somebody wants to do something like this, it's up to them to figure it out. I had to learn the hard way. I'm not going to tell everybody else how to do this. I'll tell people stuff about, well, all the things I'm failing at with, like getting monetized and marketing and all that stuff. Um, that's not proprietary. What I do isn't proprietary, but I feel like it's my process and I don't want to tell everybody what's going on. So, anyway, I don't just make images and post them. A lot of people do that. I don't. But oh gosh. So I can go through some of the comments. There's quite a few comments on that. Um, let's see here. Let's see. So this one individual hates it. It's like it's because the art generated using AI is using other artists as reference. While for most pieces it uses thousands of references, it's mainly a problem when people take other people's art directly and ask the AI to copy it. I don't do that. I'm sorry that what you can do the same thing with a copy machine or a computer and a printer, right? You can do that. You can copy art. You can, if you have a decent enough printer, you can print stuff out. I mean, there's copies of famous artworks. Look at how many copies of Van Gogh's Starry Night there are. Modifications to it. We've got them with helicopters and everything else all over the internet. Look, people are going to do that stuff. They've been doing it since they were using printing presses before. Photoshop was around before AI, like Travis said, and everybody complained about that too. They bitched and moaned. Photoshop, real artist. If you want to be a real artist, you don't use Photoshop, so on and so forth. Photoshop's full of AI too. There's all kinds of AI tools that work within these. Yeah, forgery didn't start with AI. Exactly. So all these people are complaining because AI uses artists to they train it with artists and they didn't ask for the artist's permission. Look, if you put your stuff out in public, people are going to use it. People rip off stuff all the time to begin with. AI is going to get trained on what art is, right? Okay. Well, here's the deal. If I go and I'm going to learn how to be an artist the old-fashioned way, and I go to school, and you go to art appreciation, right? What are they going to do? They're gonna just explain to you what it looks like. They're gonna use words and say, there's flowers, and then there's soft colors, and there's watercolors, and there's oils, and so on and so. And there's impressionism, and no, they're gonna show you examples of what that is, and you may actually practice making your own version of some of these pieces of art, right? Some people will sell these, and some of them are in the public domain, right? Some of this older stuff is, but people may make a copy of something and do it out of fair use and modify it, like I was talking about with Van Gogh's painting. That doesn't mean that they're ripping it off, and they're learning how to do this stuff with other people's art. That's not theft. That's just learning. Now, if you take their exact work and you put your name on it and you try to sell it, that's forgery, right? You're thieving. Well, yeah, the same people just come back over and over and over. Do you know how AI is trained? All right. So I think I beat that argument into the ground. Uh, they it's just like over and over. And I've actually made the mistake. I I've got three different channels in YouTube, right? I have this channel, the one that I'm on right now, mine. I have Forced Valor, and then I have the Shorts channel for Forced Valor. So I was actually looking at something excuse me, in my browser in the Forced Valor channel, hopped over, and the session got stuck in my browser, and I made a comment on that thread from my Forced Valor channel. I didn't mean to do it with that channel. I didn't mean to do it that way. So I go in and I make a statement. It's like you can copy art with Google in a printer. You can steal. You can thieve it, right? Give it a few years, and we'll be talking about something completely different. This dumbass comes back. It's like, why are you posting from your podcast page like you're a different person? I wasn't. I moron. I guess that means that they won the argument because I accidentally posted from the wrong account. Moron. And then another person talking about AI steals art and uses hella water. What is this hella water? I have never heard of hella water. Is that a brand of water? I don't know. And then so anyway, we go back and forth, and I was like, "Do you know what the water cycle is?" The water cycle, all of the water. If for those of you who may not know what the water cycle is, and all the people who talk about, oh, everything's using too much water, and it's just like, look, the water on this planet is the same water that's always been on this planet. So either they're assuming that we're ejecting this water into space, right, and it's never coming back, or somehow or another we're breaking it down at the atomic level and making it so it can't be back into water again. Other than that, it's going to be right back again. We're drinking dinosaur piss. That's all there is to it. It's like all the water that's here has always been here and always will be here. It's the same thing with carbon. You don't The people with the carbon footprint bullshit drive me up the wall. There you don't create or destroy carbon, it's elemental, right? It, you're not creating carbon when you burn diesel in your vehicle or gasoline in your vehicle. It's not. It's just changing. It's just changing where it is. Matter is neither created or destroyed. It just changes state. The same thing with energy. Simple stuff, people. Simple stuff. So what they're talking about, and this person's like, oh, well, the water cycle's not immediate, and they're depleting aquifers that take several lifetimes to go back, and I was like, man, if the Romans could figure out how to get water to cities like over 2,000 years ago or more, then I think we're probably going to be all right. Right? We've got Los Angeles that was built in a place it's outrun its water. Las Vegas was built in the middle of a damn desert, and guess what? They built a dam I, I, the the lack of critical thinking skills that these people have is beyond my comprehension. It really. But yeah, in my favorite my favorite all time response is oh, watch some YouTube videos and learn how to be an artist yourself and just draw your own stuff. Okay. Yeah. I think you're oversimplifying things. It's not that easy. People who have never tried to actually do anything, I've I've done art classes. I'm not an artist, right? I don't work that way. I'm not a musician either, but I generate music for the videos. I'm not going to learn how to be, a concert pianist and a flutist and learn how to play the cello and all these instruments to make this music for the all this music I'm creating. I'm not going to hire an orchestra. It's all asinine. And yeah, I don't copy prompts either, folks. I write them all myself. Well, I'll let me rephrase. I have copied prompts, but they're prompts that I wrote and refined. I use the same ones and modify them. You know why? Because it's stupid to use the same shit over and over and over again. Yes, they're all regurgitating talking points that they've heard someplace else. And I'll tell you what, AI, when it comes to water use, is nowhere near agriculture or other general industry. Nowhere near it. I mean, it's thousands of times less water intensive. Most of those cooling systems are either going to be a closed system or they're going to be evaporative. If it's an evaporative cooling system, guess where that water is going when it evaporates, right? It goes back into the water cycle. What do they think happens when rain falls? Where did that rain get into the sky from? Right? Where is that water? It evaporated. It formed what? Dumbasses, absolute idiots. But that's been the fun thing I was doing over the course of the last week is trying to keep that engagement going because I'll tell you what, the algorithm loves some arguing in the comments. So please, by all means, not only in that minute and 27-second video, go on over to my main channel, my channel, JD the Bot Guy on YouTube. Go into my shorts. Go to the one with the. You can't miss it. You can't. It's the one with all of the comments. Please go in, help out. They obviously they're confused and they need some help. Yeah. So Travis says that California agriculture uses 40% of the state's water versus less than 1% for AI. Right. Uh, And then they're going to complain. It's like, look, technology when it's new always costs more. New technology costs more. Do you anybody remember what GPS cost when it came out? No, you don't, because all these people are zygotes. They're little children who don't have a damn idea what's going on in the world. They are all just probably sitting in mom's basement. Actually, water. Anyway, people just drive me up a water. Drive me up. I need more bourbon and less anger. That's what I need. More bourbon, less anger. Yeah. So GPS used to be prohibitively expensive. A VCR in the 80s when those, well, they didn't come out in the 80s, but they got popular in the early 80s, right? Everybody started buying them when they became, affordable. A top feed VCR where it pops out the top, not front feed, right? Because they're easier. Just stick it in, slap it down. Those things cost $500 a piece. You remember how much a plasma cost, a flat screen TV? You know, like a 32-inch, it cost you $1,500 or more, right? I bought a Samsung, I think it was like a 36. I paid like 2 grand for this thing. It sucked power like nobody's business. It got hot and it weighed 500 pounds. I mean, it was horribly, horribly heavy. The 32-inch CRT TV, my parents had one of those things, and it took 3 people to move it because it was so heavy. That thing cost a fortune. So, you know, every time a new technology comes out or something gets refined, it costs a lot and it's big and ugly and clunky. You can buy, people don't even repair TV. You know those used to be a thing? TV repair shops. Televisions were so damn expensive that you repaired them. You replaced pieces in them. They had people whose job it was to go around and fix TVs. That's what their job was. If they did to go around and do it, a lot of times you had to take it to the shop. I had an uncle who actually had a VCR repair shop in the 80s. You know why? Because you don't replace a $500 VCR when a belt breaks in it because they were mechanical, right? You don't do that. No, you go take it to the repairman and he puts a new belt in it and makes it work, tests it out, make sure that the tracking's on. You look it up if you don't know what the tracking is about. Where that stuff didn't exist. Yeah, they don't exist anymore. People don't do that. There is no such thing as a TV repairman or a VCR repair person. Those things don't exist anymore. A VCR costs like $30. You can go buy them off the internet for nothing. If it breaks, you throw it away. You buy another one. So all those things were extremely expensive. Power usage and all that for AI is extremely expensive. Everybody's bitching about the RAM costs being high. You know why the RAM costs are high? Because OpenAI bought a whole bunch of silicon, right? For RAM to be created on that they couldn't even use and bought it all up so that they owned it, right? Well, you know what supply and demand does? You got demand, you take supply away. What's the price do? It goes up. Well, that's what happened. And that's why RAM got more expensive. I mean, people just go from one thing to another bitching about this stuff. Yeah. When's the last time you ever saw anybody repair a toaster? Oh, this is what I get for being this old. Is I remember all this stuff and all these damn children that think they know everything and don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. They spend all their time on Reddit getting shit just regurgitated to them in a little echo chamber. Never go outside of their little place. They're not well traveled. They don't know anything. They think because they go to a liberal arts college and get some stupid degree in underwater basket weaving, somehow or another that makes them smart, and it doesn't. What was Reagan like? Well, funny. That's what Reagan was like. When I graduated high school, Bill Clinton was president. But I do remember Reagan when I was a kid, which is another thing. We watched the damn launch yesterday. I made this comment. I sat when I was a kid and watched the Challenger launch, and I remember vividly that space shuttle exploding and the boosters spinning off, and everybody. There are people that are actually saying that we didn't see that when we were kids. I don't know how they can get off saying that we didn't see, that Gen X didn't see that happen real time live on television. There was a teacher on that space shuttle. It was a huge deal. It was very, very highly publicized. The civilian teacher was going into space with the astronauts. Every teacher in the United States rolled a TV into the classroom, and we all sat and watched that all go down live. 1986, and many of the people who are my age have a little bit of PTSD about that because you know what, kids don't. We got to watch all the adults freak out. In some place I saw, I haven't looked it up because I'm just not that twisted. There is video of that teacher's class watching that television broadcast and seeing their own teacher die live on TV. So yeah, we were a little bit edgy when we see NASA launch a I don't sorry my kids yeah, so we were all a little edgy watching that, and the whole time I'm sitting there going, please don't let something bad happen. And once they got done with They dropped the boosters and had a little bit of a, you know, flashback on that. They weren't, it wasn't exploded, but you see the boosters peel off, and it's like that looks really, really familiar. But once they got into space and they got the this last stage off and they got into low Earth orbit, I was like, okay, I can relax now, and I went off and did my thing. Oh, I had 9/11 too, Ash. I didn't stop existing because I remember where I was at for that one too. That was my wife was pregnant with our youngest child. Um, she was 7 months pregnant, and yeah, it was. I will never forget that because we thought the first plane was an accident. When the first plane hit, we were talking about it. I worked in the heavy industry, and somebody came across the radio and announced it to the whole crew as like a plane just hit the one of the twin towers, and we were like, oh damn, how did I mean? We thought it was like some sort of freak accident, and then a little bit later, another one hit, and they're like, oh, that's not what this is. But yeah, I was making steel back when that happened. It was not. Man, it was a rough time. But yeah, that's I don't know how well, I do know how I got here, but people people need to chill out with the just running off at the mouth and when they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I do talk about a lot of stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about because it's funny. So I can't really say too much, but screw those people because they don't fuck them. They don't telling me I don't know what AI is. I use AI every day for lots of different things, not just for this stuff. And I'll tell you another thing. Anybody who knows Aosabi, he's one of the mods for Donut Operator on his Discord, and he does some really complicated stuff with music, and it's not all AI generated. It's some of it's he's manually doing things, but he makes original music and also some remixes and a few other things. And generative AI is really just CGI. It's just a computer doing computer graphics. Um, we've been doing that forever. Uh, Anybody remember the first Tron movie? I do. I remember when it came out. I am wanting to say that movie was, what was it? There was a movie. Now I'm gonna have to look this up. Give me 2 moments. Um, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna ask Grok. Yes, 1982 Tron, the original Tron, right? Jeff Bridges, all that stuff. Groundbreaking. Had computer graphics in it, all that stuff. Was ineligible for an Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science. They disqualified it for consideration for Best Visual Effects category in the 55th Academy Awards because it used computer graphics. Luddites. Absolutely. These are the same kind of people who will sit there and disqualify things that I and other people have done as slop. But yeah, it's E.T. the Extraterrestrial ended up getting the visual effects Oscar of the year. It was a puppet. Now they did do some stuff with with the screens and doing back, not really green screen. They would actually project stuff up behind the characters doing the action, the old way before green screen stuff was invented. It did get nominations for best costume design and best sound, but it lost both. But just discounting, completely just dismissing things because a computer was used in the process. And people will look at Tron now and they're, oh yeah, that's no big deal. But obviously it was a big deal, and it's the same kind of people. We will. I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. We will eventually get to the point we're going to have full length feature length films that are completely done with generative AI, right? Absolutely start to finish, all the characters, all the dialogue, all the music, even probably the script, completely generated by AI. And I'm going to hold out. I'm going to tell you that it's probably going to get to a point where you won't be able to tell. I mean, now this isn't going to be your average everyday go on, Grok or whatever and generate the stuff and think it's going to pass off. There's some pretty good stuff that comes out of that. There's a lot of really bad stuff, but it's low effort. They're just going to type some shit in and they think it's funny and they throw it out on the internet, and some of it goes viral and some of it doesn't. Some of it goes viral because it's bad, right? Which is kind of the thing that I play off of. It's like my content's not that great. I'm kind of just like lobbing it over the plate, right? Because I mean, I don't get paid from this. What anyway, you can you can use an iPhone and have for several generations to do HD um, videos like 4K. I don't know if they'll do 8K, but they will definitely do 4K. There was a movie, and I don't know what it is, but there was a film that was actually completely made with iPhone. So share my cigar? No, you can't have my cigar is all juicy. Do you want to share this cigar? Look at how juicy that is. Look at that. Juicy. Yeah, I'll blow some smoke at you. How's that work? But yeah, people enjoy the stuff that I make. Good. I enjoy the hell out of it. It makes me giggle every time I watch it. 17 Pro will do 8K, and I don't doubt it. I'm an Apple guy. I'm a Mac fan. I'm sitting here talking to one right now. Not a phone, but I'm a Mac Studio, and that's what I sit here and do this on because my Mac Mini that I had out here that was an old Intel wouldn't keep up. I had to reboot before I could start my stream because it'd start lagging and do all kinds of goofy stuff. But yeah, welcome to the chat, Aiden. Glad to see you here. I'm just glad it hasn't gone out. I think I may have ruined the drinking game because I've been making sure that this thing doesn't go out. And other than the watch, though, I don't like the square look. I have different smartwatch because the tactical round ones. You know what? Watch guy. What was that? I'm on the list. You know what? I could use my phone as a camera, but then I couldn't use my phone. And it only looks like a potato because the stupid the why am I keep losing the terminology. It's the resolution was dialed down, and I don't know that OBS will change it while while I'm live. I don't, I had a different name over on that purple app. Um, well, so Ash was here a little bit earlier, and I started the stream. OBS is probably the issue. Yes, very very likely. Um, and I don't want to screw with it because I'm live. Uh, I screwed up the resolution, um, and it is what it is. But I did go in and mess with my camera settings. I had the white balance was going nuts, and like I said, I've got multiple screens here. I have to look, and I'm old and have to look through bifocals. Yes, I'm that age. Actually, I'm a lot older than that age. And so when I would when I would lean over to read, the light would cause the difference in where I was at would cause a white balance automatically to flip out. Anyway, so I can't I cannot believe I've been sitting here whining about all this stuff for like 55 minutes. But I'll tell you, there's going to be some more. I think I figured out what I'm going to do is I am just going to troll these assholes over AI stuff, and that's going to be my thing for now. It's just too much fun to make fun of the lack of echelon in the stream is not disturbing. Look, I am drinking bourbon, and I will tell you, there is not a flavor of ashy that mixes well with bourbon. So the Atomic Cola does do well with whiskey, but you got to use like Jack Daniels or something like that. It doesn't do well with bourbon. You shh, Aiden. We've already covered this. But yeah, there's no echelon in this stream because I'm drinking bourbon. So no, I didn't go to the damn gym today. I am horrible. I'm horrible. I haven't been all week. This is what happens. I've been in 3 different states this week, 4 if you count confusion. I've spent time in. I almost went into Kentucky for a little bit, but I had to talk myself out of it. I'll be in Kentucky in October, so I'll take your word for the Atomic Cola and the Kraken. I will. Um, KFC? No, I'm not going to Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm going to actually go to the state of Kentucky. See, now you want to get so Ash is over here talking smack, talking about he's going to start sharing Sports Center updates if I don't. You're going to get me ranting again, is what you want to do. You're just poking the bear, man. Just poking the bear. So I know some of you guys may or may not have been here, but I actually had a couple of the folks from JD Delay's um, channel come over here, and one of the mods was in here. It was pretty neat. Um, I think I've fallen off the. Yeah, hi, got somebody in here from Kick. What's up? But I think I've fallen off their radar again. I really wish they would fix that video though. That I like having that traffic coming over here. What's dope? That I got somebody in from Kick. Yep, one whole person's watching there. could could always be worse. I actually just added that I screwed my stream up. You're from Algeria. Well, welcome to this MPAA hat. You know what? I'm not falling for this. You're not going to trick me into complaining about sports. Not tonight. Not tonight. The the JD thing. Oh, okay, yeah. So one of his mods was over here from their channel, and where they were in there chatting in my stream. I think it might have been Saturday. I lose track. Um, I don't. I only do these things Thursdays and Saturdays usually. But what's the what? Oh, come on, man. I can't keep up. I don't know how people do this with the getting enough churning on the chat. And I'll tell you what, until I get to a point where I need mods, I'm not putting anything up on the screen because you guys are out of control. Yeah, you whatever. Oh, the MPAA hat for the fit. No, no. You know what? You gave me an idea right now. You know what I need to do? I need to make I need to make one of those you know Ron, man, what's his name? The director. Um why can't I remember that guy's name? Huh. I hate it when I blank on people's names all the time. You know, the guy that was on Andy Griffith. Oh, you suggest? You know, I haven't sold a single one of those red hats. Ron Howard, thank you, Ash. God bless. So Ron Howard wears hats. Well, first of all, he's bald, but he wears hats with like a battleship or something, and it's got the scrambled eggs on it and all that stuff. We I need to make one of those for that episode. The Where's that at? Let me go. Let me go over to. It was my second or third episode that I did. Um, Hold on. Give me a moment. This is bad. I've gotten enough that I've forgotten. It was the second one. The too stubborn to drown and too drunk to care. Cut, frying. What? Okay, you've lost me on the frying pan thing. No, it was the spoon. Anyway, I show you. Look, this episode right here. But it was off the Battle of Jutland, and there was a ship in that I'm not going to play it. There's a video for it. The Indefatigable, and technically that was a Royal Navy. It was that I was just starting off. Give me a break, right? Yeah, bro doesn't remember. I never remember. I remember the red hat though. Anybody wants to see that? It's right here. There you go. There's the red hat. Just like this one, only red. But yeah, that would be maybe I can do that ship. I don't know if that's the way I want to go, but that might be an interesting thing to do. Nobody wears hats like that. Ron Howard and old dudes. I mean, really old dudes. So, but yeah, and don't be surprised by me not remembering something. I can't remember jack squat. Uh, the one at Saratoga, not Corn. Oh, you were talking about a ship's name, and I'm over here getting all confused about what you're talking. No, I've there's several there's uh there's several different stories, and the thing is that they all kind of start to run together after a while for me. But I'll tell you that there's going to be some new stuff. Um, oh, the Battle of Saratoga, though. Tell you what, I have. Let me go over. So there was technically two battles of Saratoga, right? And let's see what Saratoga Scorcher. I don't know if I had anything about ships in that one though. let's see, Burgoyne, Henry Clinton, Hessians, Morgan, Knox. Nope. I don't think I had anything about ships in that particular one. So, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that was the Brandon had the frying pan. He had several of those. So, uh, those were episodes about um, those were episodes about the War of 1812. I think. Yeah, it was the War of 1812 or the French and Indian War. I can't remember. It was a Battle of Lake Erie, I think. Skillet of yeah. So that's right. So Lake Erie, we had the U.S. Navy, right, and all that. 18. Yeah, that's it. So it's September of 1813. There you go. The Detroit was in there. That was a British ship, and there were quite a few ships that were mentioned in that. The USS Niagara was in it, so that was probably the one, the Niagara, um, that that was in that. So yeah, the USS Niagara. Was a tall ship though, I think. So there you go. We've solved the mystery. Couldn't remember what the hell you were talking about, but yeah, that the War of 1812 was um, one of the ones that was featured in that the one video that went nuts. Yeah, we did. Sobriety and voice chat, they don't mix. I'm just saying, we've had several conversations. Me and I mean several of these people that are in these chats have had some conversations in voice chats. Lots of late nights of drunkenness. Now, yeah, but there's other VCs now. I have one on my Discord, but nobody ever goes in there. So I need to get a few more people in there. It's just one of those things that's kind of not a big point for me. You don't. Well, I have Discord anymore. Well, I'm sorry. Oh Lord. Oh look, Restream is telling me that I've got 100 messages today. So you guys are being Travis. You're goofy. Uh, I think your stuff is funny. Oh no, I was reading Travis's video. Have uh, I do have a video that I want to do on a Civil War battle that's not that will be on this channel. It won't be on Forced Valor because it's not gonna. Well, I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with all that, but yeah, well, hey, you know what? If you got something that works, you can reuse clips. Hey, by the way, you guys weren't here earlier. Did you see? Did you see this? Look at this. Isn't it pretty? Yeah. You can go get yours. Patchops.com. Portion of the proceeds go to me. Yeah. I don't I don't care about the views. I don't. If I cared about the views, I would have quit a long time ago. I've been doing this for wow, almost. Well, I've been doing Forced Valor for a year, a little over a year. I think it was February. of last year that I started doing this, and I've got I don't know how many different stories. I know I've got I think I just started working on crippling bourbon and cigar addiction. It's not crippling. I'm a perfectly functional uh, drunk and smoker of mediocre cigars. But yeah, I've been doing this for a year on there. I've got 50. I'm working on episode 53, I believe. Let me make sure of that. I'm gonna go over here. Yes. So 53 will be the next one. Functional is, yes, it is. I'm using that term loosely. Now, you guys are gonna get to look at my pause screen because if I don't take a little break, I'm going to be sitting in a puddle. I've been going for an hour and 11, and I need to get a new drink, and I will be right back. So please hold. Yes, back. Whew. Oh no. All right. What in the world were you guys talking about? Truck? Your truck is more functional. Good. Uh, have him dance to R&B music. Confessions by Maybe Burn. I can't. So look, I can't use that stuff because I'll get a strike. So get over it. The music he goes that goes to him or goes with him is going to be original generated stuff, so I don't get hit with a strike. Because you know what? Yeah. Oh, by the way, today's bourbon is Bullet. It's not the best bourbon, but it is good. So now let's see if my cigar is still lit. Oh look, I have the. No, you're not going to see me dance like that. You can't get me drunk enough. Travis, you will never, ever, ever see me listen or hear of me listening to anything jazz. You want to talk about getting me started on something? Jazz is not music, it's just a bunch of racket. You don't need to play all the notes at once. I don't understand. It's like, oh God, is that a challenge getting me started on jazz? I like lots of different kinds of music. I really do. Jazz is not one of them. Look at that smoke ring. But yeah. So what? No drunk. To get me drunk? What? What? Oh, that you can't get me drunk enough to see me dance. You're not going to get me drunk enough to see me dance on camera. Travis, it's okay. Do your job, man. You don't. You can come and go. It's fine. I don't know if any of you guys saw this before, but I'm super stoked. I got 4 days in a row off. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. To the best of my knowledge, I haven't been told yet, and I'm not being a total moron. One of these days, I think I don't know. You never know. My wife gets notifications when I start these streams. Sometimes she'll go in and yes, I do, Jim. What? Well, oh, I need to go to the gym. I don't know how far this lag is, but I have to go back in my little rewind my brain and remember what the hell it was I said that you're referring to. So look, I didn't go to the gym this week, but I walked miles. Oh man, my calves are killing me. I was walking around. I spent the time I was smoking cigars when I was out, walking around outside because the weather in Alabama where I was beautiful. Light breeze, like 76, 77 degrees. It was great. And I just spent all evening just walking around smoking cigars and, you know, goofing off, talking to the wife on the phone and stuff. And my legs are killing me because they have um, crates of man. I'll tell you what, I could not begin to tell you how much it killed me to not go back through Nashville. I really, I really did. I'm glad I went on my way to Alabama and not on the way back, because I probably would have talked myself out of it, and I've been kicking myself. It's one of those things. It's like I usually like to consider myself um, not risk averse, but it's one of those things. I don't know if you guys do this, but you have intrusive thoughts and stuff. I'm 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 one of those people that if I'm given enough time to think about things, I will create situations in my mind that don't exist. I've spent quite a bit of time interacting with folks over at Echelon. Met the founder at Shot Show. I've told that story already. Eric Bartel, and get a lot of good feedback from that. But sometimes I will like create scenarios in my mind that aren't there because I'm kind of a pessimist. Who would have figured that? And so it's uh it's weird you get an invite to go to some place like that, and then you know I go and on like start like inventing. Maybe I can't. Maybe I just invented that. Maybe I'm really not supposed to go. Maybe I'm this, that, and the other. It's like it's horrible, and I have to push through things like that. I don't know if any of you guys have to deal with things, having those weird intrusive thoughts that like try to for somebody who has an ego as big as mine, I have to fight against that. It's like you see the little things where you got an angel on this shoulder and a devil on this shoulder, and I really have to go. I don't like hear voices and stuff, but I will talk myself out of situations. It's either talk myself out of something, or I will go completely off the other end and go just completely balls out and not think about things before I do them. And it's the weirdest shit. And I don't know how to find a middle ground. And I think some of that has to do with the ADD brain. It goes everywhere all at once. My wife makes fun of me because she'll ask me to do something. I'll say I'm going to do it, and then she's like, "Did you do that?" And I'm sitting over here doing something like, "No." It's been like 20 minutes, and I'm chasing squirrels on the internet or something. It's really bad. I went to pay a bill, and I do all my stuff online. Obviously, I'm a technology kind of guy, and I got to pay a bill, and uh, I'm sitting there doing I don't know what, 15 minutes later, and didn't even log into the site. And she's like, "Squirrels, go back to doing what you're supposed to be doing." As you fixing the tires today? Huh. I'll tell you though, I would have bought that entire pallet of um, Armed Golfer. I've got that case in my fridge right there. I really wish that they would come out with that, like put it out on the website. I would subscribe for that one to that one for sure. Um, I'm not telling you to spam them, um, but just add them. Tell them that you need it. It must be done. Only one. Well, they weren't on rims with air, right? So stacking, I know they're heavy, but at least they weren't mounted and all that. It could always be worse. I always try to tell myself that. So whoever's on YouTube, you need to say something in the chat. The one, the one person. Oh, 17 views on X. Well, we're just over. We're doing the hell out of it tonight, aren't we? I got nowhere to be. I'll just keep on going. Say until you get to the top tire of the stack, was because you're tired. I'm only on my first cigar. I have plenty more. So I sell. I did cut myself a little short on time going through Nashville. There is a cigar lounge there called Smokers Abbey that I love going to. It's like one of the first cigar lounges I was ever at, and they've they've got one in Nashville, and I can't remember. They've got a couple of locations, and I went into the one in Nashville, and it was a tiny little bitty place at the time, and they've since expanded and knocked down walls and everything else. But they didn't even serve drinks. They just only had there was a first walk-in humidor I'd ever been in. The place is fantastic. It really is. But there's another one that I go to in Charlotte that's called Vintage. I love that place. It's not quite as big as Smokers Abbey. And then there's a Cigars International cigar lounge in Dallas that I get out to. I'm gonna have to. So I'll be in Dallas in June. I travel quite a bit for the day job, and so I'm trying. If you hear that dinging, it's me trying to knock the ash off of this thing. And yes, this is a corn in the cob holder that I use for a nubber. You know why? Because I can. I think it's hilarious. So I haven't been to Sevierville in forever. I actually got married to my wife in Pigeon Forge back in 2000. 2000. Yeah. So we rented a cabin up in the mountains and had a justice of the peace come and marry us. And that was back when wasn't a camcorder, but we had a camera that was digital 8 millimeter. It used a tape. This is again mold, and put it up on top of the refrigerator and pointed it toward and looked at the viewfinder on it and walked over to where it was and had the JP perform the ceremony. And strangely enough, uh, third, I think it's third. So you got Vegas, Atlantic City, and then the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, that whole area. So yeah, interesting. I had an ancestor that was present at the Battle of Kings Mountain. Yeah. Also, Brandon was there at that one too. There's a story about it on the website. So that was back before when I was doing the original. The reason why it says Forced Valor Radio and not just Forced Valor is because originally I just intended on having narration of the story with no nothing but like one picture. It's the same as the website. You have you would have the one picture that would give you a kind of an idea of the setting of the scene or the time and place and everything, and then you just listen to it. And then I decided to start making them into videos, and here we are. Yeah, well, uh, the east that part of the country, Ash, has so much history. I don't think I need to tell you that, but that's it. Again, history nut, and there's so much that has gone on that side of the country. Uh, the guy that was the name of the town was, you talking about Gatlinburg? I love how long I have to wait for a reply. This is the lag on this stuff is awful. I could look that up in the time it takes for you to hear me and then reply back. Yes, Gatlinburg. Okay. Um, I did not know that story. Now I'm going to have to go look that up, and you've given me one more thing that I am going to have to do. I know one thing. Holy balls! Turning my air conditioner down. My God, it is hot. I don't know why. So I went out of town and I set the air conditioning up to 72 degrees so it wasn't running all the time, and completely forgot about it until just now. And it is. I usually keep it at like 68 because well, I'm I'm fat, so they get hot. But it's been raining and the humidity is up real high, and 72 degrees really wasn't all that bad until um, the rain stopped, and now it's hot and humid and gross, and ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, Travis, thank you for reposting the medal. That's cool. Thanks, appreciate it. I should probably not be an idiot and put a link to that um, on that post, because that makes sense. You put a picture of something up on the internet, and then don't. Where did that? There we go. Lost the browser tab. There. Now I've got it on there. That's cool, man. You're cool. People got to work. Oh man. Any of you guys have ever met Travis? Been in a voice chat with him. He has an epic mustache and does crazy shit on bikes, bicycles. Builds his own too, right? You build your own bikes, I think. Yeah. So, oh Lord. So let's see. Try to get back into it more, man. Everybody's got to have a hobby of some sort. Um, I I got too many side hustles to have any more hobbies. Let's see where. I don't want to read out loud what I'm typing because that's just weird. I'm trying to get some history, right? Did you know today in 1792, U.S. Congress passed the Coinage Act, establishing the United States Mint in Philadelphia and authorizing the production of the nation's first official coins, including gold eagles and silver dollars. That's eh, who knew that? Uh, 1800, Ludwig von Beethoven conducted the premiere of his first symphony in Vienna. Oh, here we go. In 1801, during the Napoleonic Wars, British forces under Admiral Horatio Nelson won the Battle of Copenhagen, destroying much of the Danish Norwegian fleet in a daring attack that secured British naval dominance in the region. Hmm. Well, Travis, they say just like riding a bike for a reason. Still got it. Actually, that's a stupid saying. It's not true. I uh, I got on a bicycle a few years ago for the first time in decades, and I was not as good at it as I was when I was younger. Of course, athleticism is a lot easier when you're not, a lard ass. Now, see, I've never heard of this one. In 1863, the largest of the Southern bread riots broke out in Richmond, Virginia. Starving women and residents marched on warehouses demanding food, yelling bread or blood amid Civil War shortages. Confederate President Jefferson Davis personally intervened to stop the unrest. I have never once heard of that. That is an interesting thing to me. I've never heard of the bread riots. Huh. So Travis said you kind of forget. You know what to do, but muscle memory isn't working as good as you think. And he was scared to send that flip for like an hour. You know what? Feel free to post a link to that if you want. It's up to you. In 1865, Confederate forces evacuated Richmond, Virginia, and Jefferson Davis and his cabinet fled the capital, marking a major turning point that hastened the end of the Civil War. Um, went to Texas, I believe. Isn't that right? I believe so. 1912, the RMS Titanic began its sea trials off the coast of Ireland, and yeah, you know, where was it? I was listening to that. That was it Unsub? So I was the good thing about making long road trips in a vehicle is I was able to sort of catch up on some of the Unsub episodes. I can't watch it, but I can listen to it. And they were saying that there's a conspiracy theory out there that the Titanic wasn't the Titanic, that it was a sister ship, an older one that actually sank because it was less cost prohibitive. It wasn't as costly to lose that one. So yeah, interesting. Let's see. In 1917, Woodrow Wilson addressed Congress and asked for a declaration of war against Germany, stating the world must be made safe for democracy. I will. The Olymp. Yeah, I think it was the Olympia, Ash. Um, Woodrow Wilson, I will hold out, was the worst president in the history of this country. Second only, or first, second would be FDR. Yeah, good. Uh, oh, well, in 1968, Stanley Kubrick's groundbreaking science fiction masterpiece 2001: A Space Odyssey had its world premiere in Washington, D.C. Very, very good film. Uh, no, well, they may have all talked about it, but I didn't watch Underwhelming or Man versus Morning on that trip, so it had to have been unsub. Um, in 1982, Argentine forces invaded and occupied the Falkland Islands. Uh, action triggered the Falklands War, which ended with a British victory 2 months later. Yeah, and so the only thing on that list was Ponce de Leon. I pronounced that incorrectly, but Ponce de Leon, like everybody says, d- landed on the coast of Florida in 1513. But that sometimes when I do this query, when I ask for these events, um, what it does is it'll pull stuff that's like from the areas, not necessarily today. I try to make it do just today. It's just like there's been a couple of times that I asked for a list of interesting um, current events, and it tells about the red fox that caught a ride and ended up in the Bronx Zoo. I don't know why it keeps telling me that. I don't know if it was just this last month or what, but it's April now. It's not March anymore, right? Um, I don't know. Yeah, could do them entire week. Uh, so current events for this week. All right, are we ready? So in India, a 74-year-old retired Air Force veteran, Mohan Lal, died and attended his own Hindu funeral rites as a mourner. He wanted to see how much respect people would show him, then revealed himself and threw a feast for the stunned attendees. If a person that I knew faked their own death and then and forced me to go through uh, mourning for them and then revealed themselves to still be alive, they may not be so afterwards. Just saying, that's just a rude thing to do to people. Why would you do that kind of thing to your friends and family? That's talk about ego, right? What would have been really funny is if nobody showed up. That would have served him right. Light a cigar and don't set your hat on fire. I all right. Did I say something about this before? There's apparently a raccoon. I don't think this could. Is this a recurring issue? Is it the same raccoon? This raccoon fell through the ceiling of Virginia ABC store, smashed multiple bottles, including rum, moonshine, and peanut butter whiskey, got heavily drunk, passed out face down in the bathroom floor. Is that the same raccoon doing this over and over? I swear I've seen this story before. Put them in the box. It's the law. Double jeopardy. Raccoons. Uh, apparently, in Wisconsin, a kangaroo named Chesney scaled an 8-foot fence and spent 3 days on the lam before being captured. The escape made local headlines and turned the marsupial into a minor celebrity. Oh, rascal. You, we should ask Harvey if his raccoon's just going out and getting hammered. There's a lot of interesting um, animal news. There was an emu that got loose in Virginia. It was wandering through residential areas. They got it all rounded up and captured it again. Yeah, I it. That's an interesting way to say it. Um, in Texas, firefighters, animal services, and public works teamed up to extract a family of ducklings trapped in a storm drain after heavy rain. How many times? How do you think he gets the guns for the giveaways? Yeah, if you guys don't follow Harvey's gun and pawn, or is it pistol and pawn? What? Uh, did you get your dog back? Tell me, Travis, did you get your dog back? I want to know. We're all. I'm interested. I'm hoping that was the call you got. Yeah, give us updates, Travis. Damn it, Travis is all of the engagement pace out. What? Oh, stop changing subjects, Travis. Travis's dog escaped and was captured and taken to animal control and has been given to somebody else, and that's the last update I have. If you have more information, please share. But yes, I'm glad somebody rescued him. And it's Harvey's pistol and pawn I was talking about before. Called and said you could have him back after they get all his medical. Well, that's positive. Not to tell you your business, but and I need to do this. I really do, but really should get dogs chipped. All pets that can escape, right? Emus, raccoons, whatever you got. Oh, did you guys see before that there was a hoax about Jonathan, the okay, if we would like going to talk that over with the wife, he was a stray we found in September and he's old, so we got to decide to let a foster take him after medical or get him back. Well, you know what? You got to do what you think is right. I'm not a big fan of people who will just like rehome their animals, but if if you've got an older aging dog that was a rescue, you haven't had him for that long, right? If they can take better care of him, I mean, you got to do what's right for him. So you were kind of fostering him anyway, right? But yeah, I'm glad that they were able to save him before he got euthanized. Um, it that's it's awful. Both of my dogs are rescues. Well, no, one of my dogs a rescue. One of them I got from a private party, but my older dog Sophie had to have surgery about a month or so ago and have a tumor removed. And yeah, man, you found him in the rain wandering on the 6-lane freeway downtown San Bernardino, and I'm glad that you were able to grab him up before he got hit by a car. So apparently, paranormal vloggers sparked a brawl in an Indian village. Oh, it's in an Indian village, not an Indian village. Different thing. It's not. It's a village in India, not a Native American village. Content creators flocked to a long abandoned haunted house in India where a family was murdered 25 years ago. When thrill seekers broke in to film, angry residents clashed with them, injuring several in a chaotic confrontation over the viral invasion. Look, don't go breaking into places. It's trespassing. I don't know what the laws are like in India, but here, you see a lot of people do those, exploration videos where they go into an old abandoned place and explore it and whatnot. Look, trespassing is against the law. Don't do that. Eh, okay, yeah, the hoax with Jonathan. So there's a tortoise uh, that's over 193 years old. It's a Seychelles giant tortoise, and he lives on St. Helena. And there was a hoax that came out saying that he had died on April 1st, and it actually got shared by Jack Mandeville because he had done a story about that particular tortoise. If you take into consideration the thing's almost 200 years old, think of all the things that tortoise has lived through. Well, the tortoise is alive and well, and the folks who actually take care of that tortoise have debunked that. I don't know if Jack was just sharing it because you know it was something that he knew or a story that he did. Surely he was not involved in that because the people who were spreading that were trying to sell crypto or something. But yeah, Jonathan's fine. Let's see. Squirrels. So there's these squirrels in London that they've got video of, and I haven't seen this, so please, if you find the video, at me on X, um, and yeah, but they're apparently vaping on like discarded vapes. I don't I don't know. So I think it was one was asking someone to find that guy's location. Yes. So yeah, that's jacked up though. I mean, they were engagement, farming for and trying to sell crypto through that post. Um, but yeah, let's see. And then the stupid so the sock burning thing I talked about, and that was last week. I think I spoke about that, where people in Annapolis, Maryland, get together at a marine museum and burn their socks. And it's supposed to be like, oh, this is the start of the sailing season. I I don't I don't understand that. Whatever. Which, I mean, I hope the socks are at least clean. One, they're not going to burn very good if they're all sweaty. But apparently, there's a Saharan dust storm that turned the sky red. Have you guys seen that happen before? I have. The what? What do you mean the what? I just said it all. The sock burning thing. Yes, apparently people get together in um, Annapolis, Maryland, every year and set their socks on fire. It's supposed to signify the end of winter and people like not needing heavy winter socks. Maybe that's a thing they would. I don't know. I wear short socks all the time, even with boots, unless I'm wearing uh, flip flops, which is my other favorite piece of footwear. But I like don't want to have to change socks when I want to go to the gym, and I wear low top Converse, Chuck Taylors when I go. Um, so yeah, I don't want to have to change socks. But yeah, the African dust storms. Remember a few years back we had that when you could see the dust in the air. The sky was kind of like an orangish red for a long time, and that dust goes up in the air, and it'll actually go all the way around the world. It's crazy. You could see it here. The jet stream grabs that up, and off it goes, and it's the weirdest damn thing. But yeah, that's the obscure list of current events going on in the world today. I don't. I want to come up with some things that nobody's listening to because we've got too many other goofy things going on in the world that people are worried about. Um, did you guys hear, by the way, that Pete Hegseth came today and they're ending the gun-free zones on American bases. So that's a cool thing. So those aren't going to be soft targets anymore, hopefully, and we won't have any more people doing dumb shit and going on American um, bases and shooting the place up. I could be completely wrong about this, but I think prior to this, the rule was if you were on base and you wanted to have privately owned firearms, you had to check them into the armory. I think you weren't allowed to keep them. You couldn't keep them in barracks, and I don't know if you had base housing if that was the thing. If it was all base housing or only or what. But yeah, so anybody in the comments can tell me if I'm completely off on that, but I think that was the case. Oh man, Aiden, I appreciate the repost on X. Um, how we're choosing the winners. So on those contests, back to that again, since Aiden asked in a comment on that. So what I do is the rules are laid out in the post, and Grok has the ability to go through to go through the public information. Uh, quote reposts have an ID that it can use for reference, but it'll go through the rules in the post. I'll tell it the post that I'm talking about, the contest, and it reads the rules out of that post and will actually pick a winner for me based on who is eligible with the rules that are laid out in the post. That's the way I pick all of them. I think Harvey's does that way too. They have Grok. It's just the simplest way to go about doing it, and because I have you know um, Premium Plus on X, um, I just let Grok do it. I don't have to worry about putting everything together and doing the random number generator and all that. I just say Grok pick me a winner based on the rules, and it goes and does it. But the I put that post up on the 29th, which I think was Sunday. So I'm going to wait until a full week has gone by before I pick the winner on that again. Or this time, I usually only leave them up for a week. I I said that I would pick the winner in 1 week. I think um, when I start the one for May, I may leave that one up for a full month just to get more people involved. What I don't want to have happen is I don't want to have the same people win over and over. And I think that's part of the reason why my engagement on this isn't what it should be, or why people aren't doing what they ought to do, is because folks are trying to be nice and let other people have a chance to win, and they're just not doing it, but they are like resharing and things, but they're just not doing all the rules so that they don't win um, more than once. Because I know I had Aaron from I had to say it one, Rackham's Roughnecks is one, and this is only the third time I've done this. So no, wait, I had another winner who chose stickers, and for the life of me, I can't remember who that was. But as we've all seen, I'm horrible with remembering names and whatnot. So let's see what else. What else have we got going on in the Clay? I see you. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys sharing the live stream. Um, I will say that I don't know what it takes to get monetized on Kick, but Kick does have a great uh, the amount of money that they give back to the creators is significantly higher than any other platform, I think. I don't have Rumble set up to live stream. I'm thinking about doing that. I've got the Rumble channel has let me let's see where. So if you look here, so this is the Rumble channel I've got, right? And I only got one follower on there. I mean, which I can't say is a big deal because I haven't been doing this for very long. Like I said, I've had the YouTube channel for like was a year in June, or will be a year in June. I've been double. I've like been posting stuff in this location too. They don't get any hard. They don't get hardly any views here, but that's okay. You know, I'm I'm just doing this for the grins because well, it's just another place spreading the word, spreading a good word about our future congressman and one ex-con. So I will say, episode 53 is going to be fun. I'm going to try to do some new things. Uh, I'm going to be putting a not so obscure Easter egg in some of these coming up, and I think I'm going to do a recurring theme, like where I try to kind of do something repetitive that gets people to kind of look for something in particular. I'm not going to give away what it is because that's kind of the fun. When I get ready for that to go live, I'm going to remind everybody that that's going to happen so people can be watching for it. But I'm definitely going to be doing something that maybe will get people to watch a little bit more. And I will say that I'm trying to fix it. I think some of the Pacific Theater um, episodes kind of got a little bit repetitive. I don't know. I kind of get into this groove of doing something, and I kind of get caught up on doing the same thing repeatedly, and but it's in different ways. There's a lot of C rations cans and wire in these. I don't know why. Um, Trying to be a little bit more inventive with the European theater stuff. Those are going. I can't get my voice to clear. Sorry, I keep like clearing my voice in the mic. If I would mute it, it wouldn't be like that. But trying to mix it up a bit more in those. But as you guys know, I have to go through and uh, and create those episodes based on previous ones that were done in written form, and I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do an entire story from one end to the next all at one time. Hmm. You know, Ash asked if there's any others going to have valor forced upon them, and if so, are there any guidelines for who I would pick? So, obviously, I think the whole point of forced valor is to, I mean, first and foremost, not use actual people who have served. That does tend to be a touch limiting. I I want to think that maybe, just maybe, Trout needs an episode. What do you guys think about that? Do you think King Trout needs an episode of his own? You think that would be fun? I think it would be. I can think of lots of different ways that that could be very entertaining. And I'll tell you, if I was successful in annoying him, he wouldn't shut up about it. I'm pretty sure he would talk a lot of smack about it because you know what? That's just yeah. Yeah, I think I've thought about that quite a bit since I've done the episode for JD Delay. Um but hey, Eli chose that for me. I didn't do it. he's the one who he's the one who forced the valor on JD delay, and then JD was talking about it, and um, yeah, I kind of had to, because you know what, you guys all asked for it. I put a poll out, and overwhelming numbers. Right now is 11 people voted, and but everybody was like, "Yeah, we got to do this." And I know I've already talked about it, but yeah, I chose poorly when it came to the face for that, with no beard. You know, I should have just made the episode with him having a beard. I should have just done it. All of the episodes that I've done for Brandon, he has a full beard, or you know, in the ones that are photorealistic, the ones that I do that were like cartoonish, it was just a mustache, most of them. Um, but you know, that's kind of the whole thing. You know, they don't have to be. He doesn't have to have a clean shaven face, because this isn't historically accurate. And who cares if he's, you know, meeting the grooming standards? Nobody gives a shit. If they do, they don't get the point. And I actually had somebody on the TikTok channel who I did get a reaction out of it. And that's kind of the whole point. Getting a reaction out of the person uh, who is having the valor forced on them. That's the point, right? Um, And I think Trout would be annoyed by it. And annoyed is a reaction. Because honestly, if they're really okay with it, have an episode where JD meets up with Brandon and use his facial. Oh, have him have facial hair. I really want to find that. I've got a really bad picture of JD that's I think an actual picture of him with no facial hair, and he's not getting. He has a double chin. Of course, I have one too. It's just the hair kind of hides it a little bit, and yeah, he's got a. I've got a cleft in my chin, a little dimple or something, just like he does, and yeah, I haven't received a cease and desist. I So technically, because these people are all like sort of public figures, they're all on the internet. That's kind of fair use, right? It's just one of those things. It's like you put if I was making videos about some unknown person and using a person's face and or likeness, it's really difficult to kind of enforce that. I can I can do that. Plus, it's all in good fun, right? I'm not trying to be malicious. I have rules about how I do this so that I don't do situations like, um, so like if I was to take Eli and put him in GWAT, eh, you know, that's not one. Eli obviously is a veteran. He was wounded, got a Purple Heart. That started this whole thing. Um, and that's one of those things I'm kind of like iffy about that. I haven't done any Civil War episodes because I'm kind of touchy on that subject. It's People get really, really like polarized when it comes to that conflict, and I can understand why. I mean, it was the anybody who says that slavery wasn't the point of that is full of crap. The whole splintering of the country was whether or not we were going to allow states to become part of the Union as slave states or not, right? There's this whole thing. And there's no doubt about the fact that the Civil War ended slavery. Whether you whether you're a person who thinks that Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation ended slavery or not, I'm not going to argue that. It really, in my personal opinion, and I'm not a historian, but it didn't. I mean, it really only ended slavery in the slave states, and he didn't technically have the power to do that, because at the time it was a separate country. I mean, it's like saying, you know, us making a law saying that something is illegal in Mexico. It's a sovereign nation. Now, whether or not you want to argue that they were illegally separated from the U.S., I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, it did help, but it didn't free all of the slaves. And then we had the whole thing where we had what was that? I cannot come up with the man. What is the term when somebody studies under a person who's a professional? It's not internship. The internship thing keeps getting stuck in my brain. Um, yeah, Jake did a whole video on the Emancipation Proclamation. I think that's probably, and I guarantee you, he's probably on the same wavelength as I am on that. It the apprenticeship thing. See, so in during thank you. So during the Reconstruction period, the governments in the South decided they were going to come up with these apprenticeship laws and force people into servitude as apprentices. And these are like, who apprentices as a farmhand, right? There's nobody that does that. But yeah, thanks, Ash. I appreciate that. I don't know why I drew a blank on that. But yeah, so then people had to get Republicans into office and get rid of all that stuff. I like um, I like that. I like the Matthew McConaughey movie, The Free State of Jones. It kind of covers a lot of that stuff. Um, whether you like him or his movies or that in particular, it does touch on a lot of that, you know, Reconstruction era, and it's very interesting. But yeah, it's there's a whole lot of history, and you know what they say: those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. I don't think we're going to go back to having slavery in this country. Don't think that's the case. But I will say that knowing what shenanigans people have tried to pull in the past and how they tried to pull them, that's an important thing to know about. People and people who are uneducated about history are often the ones who are the most vocal about things and thinking they know what they're talking about. And I don't claim at all to be an expert. I've learned a significant amount of interesting things about history just in doing these videos. Hold on, much better. So all of these battles, a lot of them I didn't know anything about until I started researching them. Okay, look, people people don't want folks that are in this country illegally only because they work for less money. The reason they work for less money is because they don't have a leg to stand on for um, fighting for fair wages because they're not here legally, and they if they start raising a ruckus about that, somebody will call ICE or INS or whatever, and have them deported. They don't have any sort of legal recourse. However, that's not the reason why they're here in the numbers that they are, is because it's it may not you can talk about the voter fraud thing, and yeah, that's probably part of it, but I don't think it's fraudulent voting. No, it's representation. So if you have people who are here illegally counted on the census, it inflates the numbers, and you get more representation in the House of Representatives because Congress people are based on the number of folks that live in the state, right? And that's how that happens. You get more power in states with a higher population in the House of Representatives. There's a reason why we have our system of checks and balances and stuff, and things like the Electoral College, because you can't have high population areas dictating things to to states that are smaller. That's the reason why all the states have two senators, so it's equal on the Senate, and then the representatives are based on people because they're supposed to be the ones that are like representing the actual folks. At one point, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have a problem being wrong, and if I'm wrong, whatever. But at one point, state legislatures were the ones who picked the senators for each state. The state legislature would vote on senators and send them up. And when we moved to the popular vote for senators, I think we went wrong. I think that was a bad idea. I think that those people should be picked by the state government, and that that we shouldn't have lifetime senators that are in there forever because everybody wants to vote for them because of name recognition or whatever. And Cali used to be red. I mean, it's been there before. Um, I I don't know if that's going to become the case. And again, I could be wrong on this, but I read someplace that they passed a law in California recently that made it illegal to require voter ID. I, I don't think that that works the way they think it's going to work. I mean, because we do have like federal laws trump um, state laws in most instances. Um, so if they have a state law that says it's illegal to require a voter ID, well, that would only be in state elections then. Which, okay, if they want to have shitty state government because they let anybody vote who and it's not necessarily people who shouldn't vote voting. It's the fact that you can vote multiple times. They have fake people vote. I've seen it. I've seen it personally. That anybody who says there's no such thing as voter fraud is idiots. And we have in Arkansas, they ask for ID, but people will try to. Oh, I somebody. So I know a guy. I didn't actually see this one by myself, but I do know a man who was standing in line to vote, and a woman who went up and they asked for her ID. She gave her ID. They identified her. You know, they double checked, make sure that it's like what's your address and stuff. So you're supposed to know what's on the card just in case, because a lot of times they'll ask you a question. If it's not your ID or if it's a fake ID, you probably may or may not know the facts that go with it. Like you may not know the street address that's on that ID, but they verify the information, and then it's also helping to figure out where your district is and so on and so forth. The woman gave her ID over, and they verify her information, and they're like, "Well, it shows you were here already. You already voted." And she's like, "Oh, that must have been my sister. She that must have been her that came up here and voted." That's fraud. That's voter fraud. I don't I don't know why that was allowed to pass. They should put those people in jail for that. At least it should be a hefty fine. Yeah, and I don't understand how some of the laws in California are being for as far as guns go, because Travis was talking about you can't even order a pistol grip or bolts or anything complete as they are without having to go to the gun shop, sign a bunch of paperwork, and pay an extra 11%, the excise tax, I'm assuming, to pay for all the overhead with they what they're trying to do is price you out of it. Those taxes are a way to get people to not buy it because you can't afford it. You won't have it. I so here's my not so hot take, but my hot take. Anybody who can be legally armed should be legally armed. People should have arms, know how to use them, and should have them with them all the time when it's legally when they're legally able to be so. Um, Armed women don't get raped. Armed gays don't get bashed. It's just that's just the way. I mean, guns are the great equalizer. I don't people who get on the internet and they're talking about anybody who's armed. They call a guy, a big sissy, or Why don't you just fight with your hands and stuff? Like, look, man, not everybody is a, strapping young man, right? What about my wife is tiny. She weighs about 115 pounds. If a person my size wanted to do what they wanted to beat her up or whatever, there's not a damn thing she could do about it if she's not armed, right? So it's stupid for people to just assume that they know everybody's personal situation. You got people who have physical ailments. Um, not everybody can run away from a fight. Some people can't. So, I, I, and yeah, you can take a gun to a protest. Yeah, I wouldn't go screwing around with the cops carrying a gun at a protest. You know, fuck around, find out. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, I've seen I've seen video, Travis, of I can't remember where I saw it. It was a reel or something where two guys got into a fight, and one guy picked the other guy up and body slammed him, and he landed on his neck, and the guy that got body slammed was paralyzed, and the other guy went to jail, all over some dumb shit. And I'll tell you though, they say, an armed society is a polite society. If you think that there's an opportunity for you when you run your mouth and you want to start trying to start a fist fight or whatever, if you think there's an opportunity the other person might shoot you, you're probably going to shut up and leave it alone. Um, I always assume everybody else is armed, right? I don't go. I'm not. I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to run my mouth at folks. Yes, I will mess with people I know, but I'm definitely not going to go into a bar or something and start running my trap at somebody over some dumb shit and get into a fight because, well, I'm I'm too old for that crap. I know better. It's just stupid. And secondly, that person might be armed. You know, I'm not a small dude. If I wanted to go up and throw a punch at somebody and they had a gun, guess what? I'm getting capped. Why do that? So yeah, trying to ban 3D printers and create a roster only allow printers that prevent printing firearm parts. Here's the thing: you can, if you can jailbreak a phone, you can definitely do it to a printer. And here's the other thing: you can't stop people from building printers. Uh, what was it? The ANET A8 printer was a Prusa clone that was made and you can get the parts off of the shelf. And if you have a printer, you can print parts for another printer. So you can actually go and get all the stuff to make another 3D printer with a 3D printer and build one. You're not buying a printer, right? So are they going to ban all the parts to make printers too? Well, what happens if you need a spare part for the one that you already have, even if it's legal? You can't get replacement motors. Stepper motors are a thing. You can't just ban all the stuff. Are you going to ban nozzles? Well, what about a nozzle for one that's on the list? It's an unenforceable law, and the problem is if people stopped doing illegal things, if they started complying with the laws we already have, we'd have a whole lot less problems. They don't. Criminals don't give a shit. They don't care. They're going to break the law either way. Yeah. So look, just I'm not going to tell you not to comply because I'm not going to get shut down for that. But I'll tell you, like when the Safe Act passed in New York, and they said that everybody who had an AR-15 had to go and register it with the government. Do you know how many people actually went and did that? Very few. What are they going to do? The only way they know you've got one is if you go and register it. Right? There's no federal firearm registry. The closest thing to a federal firearm registry is the NFA. Those guns are registered. those suppressors and SBSs, SBRs, AOWs, all those things are registered with the government. If you don't comply with the law, there's no way to enforce the law. It's, I mean, unless you're running around or breaking the law otherwise, there's no way they're going to know. That's just, it's ridiculous. There's no way to enforce it. It was the latest thing in the news is that the ballistics on the Charlie Kirk thing. And I love all these people who watch too much TV and they think that they can um, just like, oh, I'll shoot a bullet out of this rifle, and then I'll take that bullet and I'll compare it to the another bullet, and if the scratches on it line up, then it's that. That's not how that works. There's differences in alloys between one bullet and the next. There's not. I mean, unless it's something like a Hornady VMAX as a rifle bullet, just to say, yeah, you if you got a piece of red plastic in there, right? You can probably guess that that's a Hornady bullet and stuff, but you're still not going to know exactly. You can weigh it, but that doesn't mean you've got all the parts of it, right? And and depending on what it hits when it's going through living flesh and bone, anybody who hunts and has recovered bullets from an animal that they've taken, and it, every one of them, you can shoot the same bullet out of the same gun into a different animal, and it's going to be completely different every time. Ballistics is at least with when it comes to matching bullets to guns is an educated guess at best, right? It's not exact. There's the science behind it is not, you can't recreate it. We're not talking about Batman where you shoot a bullet into a wall and then you take the pieces and reconstruct the bullet and match the lands and grooves on that. But that doesn't work that way. No more than enhancing a photograph works. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, somebody said after the shooting at Old Dominion that someone with a knife stopped him meant we don't need guns to defend ourselves. No, that's not what that means. That means that if somebody comes at you with a knife, you have to shoot them because knives are dangerous. And we've all seen videos. That's why cops shoot guys with knives because you you can die even if you win the fight, right? The guy comes out with you with the knife, you let him close the distance, and he cuts you enough times in the right places, you may shoot him and he may die, but you're going to die too. That's a lose lose. Cops shoot people with knives because they're dangerous, and you do it before they can get to you, and that's that. And yeah, Travis, I saw that say that Canada is about to send police door to door. I don't know what cops would do that. I, we already know that the most dangerous situation for police to be in is a domestic call. So you're going to just create a bunch of domestics, right? I mean, yeah, there's nobody fighting there, but that's you're just going to go start knocking on doors, and once you do it a few times, people are just going to start assuming that you're there to do something nefarious. I think that that's a bad plan. So what are they going to use? They're going to You think that the local sheriff in like around here in the US, you think the local sheriff is going to go beating on doors door to door when everybody knows their family? These places, not every place is like Coruscant in in Star Wars, right? The world is not just one giant city. People think about that. People, especially people in big cities, think that every place is like that, and it's not. There are places in this country, in particular, you can go to, and the only people there are the ones you brought with you. My dad went to Trinidad one time, and he went to a place out in the middle of nowhere, and he said it was so quiet he could hear his own heartbeat because there was nobody. When you go out someplace in like in Montana, and the directions to where you're going is turn right at the tree. The tree. There's a tree in the middle of nowhere, and you use that as a landmark. It's empty. There's nothing there. People just don't understand. They think they project. They think that their thoughts and feelings are like everybody else's. They project their thoughts and feelings onto other people, and and usually the people who say, speaking of projection, the people who say, well, you shouldn't have a gun because if you have a gun, you're more likely to shoot somebody or yourself. That person who's saying that is probably the one who's more likely to be that way. Just like if you're in a relationship, the person who's accusing the other partner of being a cheater is probably the one doing the cheating. It's just that's how people are. Well, I hope you have a good drive home. I hope everything works out with your dog, Travis. If you guys are trying to rehome him and you were just fostering, man, I hope that works out, and I hope that dog lives a long, healthy life. And you have a safe drive home, man. You still didn't post that video link. Post it on X and at me, man. I'll share it. Me and all three people who follow me. Well, Ash, this has been the longest stream I've done. I think you're the only one who's left with me. I believe that I've reached the end of my rambling. There's going to probably be some interesting shorts come out of this one for sure. I'm going to go troll the people with the AI stuff for certain. Um, yeah, Travis, if you haven't posted it, do post it and tell and at me in the comments, right? But I think I'm going to call it a night with this. I will probably do this again Saturday night. I don't want to do it 2 nights in a row. I don't have the time to. I got to finish my video. I'm going to try to finish my video tomorrow. Make some. I don't know that there's anything I said that's controversial, Ash. Right? I don't. I just don't see that. I don't think that there's anything that I've said, any opinions I have are mine and mine alone. If people have a problem with it, they can kiss my entire ass. And that's a lot of kissing. So, with that, I think I'm going to end this tonight and get these headphones off my head because, damn, they're tight. Big old fat head of mine. So, hey, yeah, that's true. Anything can be controversial if I try hard enough. I'm glad you guys were here and able to join and give me something to give me more time to talk and more things to ramble about. And we'll see you. We'll see you